Hey guys, how you doing? It's Neech. I could have went a lot of different ways with today's commentary, but I'm going to do it with Norman Lloyd. Not sure if some people are going to know who he is because he was an actor for so many years that people tend to not always remember people from the past. But basically Norman Lloyd's career started in 1941, I believe. That was his first film. And his last film was in 2015 when he did the movie Trainwreck. That's almost 80 years in the business. It is unbelievable to think that this man did that much television work. And the reason I bring him up is he passed away on May 11th at the age of 106. Imagine that. I mean, I can't even begin to think that somebody could live that long. I mean, it's been done before, but for this man to have lived that long is really remarkable and astounding. I followed his career in the 80s. He was on a show that I really liked to watch. It was called St. Elsewhere, and the show ran for 6 seasons, and he played the tough but lovable Dr. Daniel Ashlander, who throughout the series had suffered from liver cancer. And I always liked his character. He always played it so passionately, and what a lot of people forget is he was only supposed to be on 6 episodes. Like, that was it, and then they were going to have his character die of the liver cancer. And this happens a lot. You know, you've seen it with Henry Winkler. You've seen it with Jaleel White, you know, a few others. What turns out to be a couple guest spots ends up being something that you do for a long time. And he did for 6 years. He did 134 episodes. He was just tremendous on that show. He was 73 years old when the last episode was shot for that series. That was in 1988. Usually you think maybe you might get 10, even 15 more good years if you stay healthy. He lived 33 more years after that show went off the air, and he was 73 years old. It's just unbelievable. And he didn't stop working. The last movie was 2015, and he was 101 years old when he did that. Most people don't live that long. I mean, if you're lucky, you know, you make it into your 80s. Some people only make it into their 70s. He lived 106 years. It's unbelievable. And you also have to keep yourself in good shape. He was playing tennis till he was 100. When his legs just kind of wouldn't cooperate anymore. And he was driving up till he was 100 when his son convinced him that maybe it's time to stop driving. I remember seeing an interview he did, and he was like 98 years old. He looked so good, too, when he was talking. I said to myself, gee, you know, I wonder if he'll make it to 100. A lot of the cast from St. Elsewhere attended a 100th birthday party for him, and so many of these guys just talk so affectionately about him. Howie Mandel calls him one of his best friends ever. Ed Begley Jr. called him his best friend in life. He was a mentor to so many of these younger people. I believe his birthday, don't quote me, but I want to say it was like November 7th. I'm not going to lie. Monday I was talking about him to a few friends. I was saying how he's 106. He looks in good shape and stuff like that. I woke up Wednesday. I woke up around maybe 5:15 in the morning, and I'm scrolling down, and I just see a picture of him. And like right there I knew, because I said there's no way he's going to be mentioned for anything else but like his death. And I knew, like, as soon as I read it, when it said after Norman Lloyd 106 passed away, I'm not gonna lie, I know he lived a full life, but for following his career there was sadness there, because you just looked at him and you just felt like he was immortal, like he was gonna live forever, and it was his time, I guess, to go. But I mean, 106 years is just unbelievable. Think about what he lived throughout his whole life. Stock market crash, 2 world wars, World War I and World War II, the Depression, 9/11. When he was born, there was no TV yet. And when he passed away, there were smart TVs, there were smartphones, this and that. He saw everything. Keep in mind, he went to the 1926 World Series between the Yankees and Giants, I believe. And then in 1917, he went to the World Series between the Astros and the Dodgers. That is unbelievable. And he was a tremendous tennis player. He always played it on the side. Friends would always say how passionate he was about the sport. And he played it till he was 100 years old. One movie that I enjoyed watching him in, and he kind of played a bad guy in it, he was the Dean Gale Nolan in Dead Poets Society with Robin Williams, which came out in 1989. And it was a tremendous movie, and like that was the first time I saw him in a movie or anything, film or TV, where he kind of played the heavy, you know, where he's a bad guy. And he did such a remarkable job in that movie. To this day, I could watch that movie over and over and over again. It's just a classic movie. In 1957, he started doing a lot of the Alfred Hitchcock's Presents, you know, those TV miniseries that would come on. He always played a different character, and he was so well-liked that Alfred Hitchcock kept bringing him back because he really enjoyed the type of work he did, and he was so good in those, because I've watched a lot of them over the years because they've been shown and stuff, and when I found out he did them, I definitely like to see guys you see when they're older, and then you get to look at them when they're younger, what they were like. So I'd always watch those, and he just did a tremendous job. He left such a lasting impact on the entertainment business that people tend to forget, and he was as underrated of an actor as anybody there ever was, and he probably deserved a lot better than what he got as far as recognition went, because he was that damn good. I mean, if you don't believe me, just watch St. Elsewhere, watch Dead Poets Society, watch anything this man has done, and he always gives it 150%. The other thing, too, about him was remarkable is when people asked him how has he been able to live so long, he said something that I always felt was very telling. He said, if you convince yourself that you want to live, then why can't you live? He felt like that all the time. His wife, Peggy, who he was married to for 75 years, I mean, she died in 2011 at the age of 98. So think about that. I mean, the two of them lived such a great life together. You know, to be married for a good majority of their life is just awesome. And they had such a tremendous love for each other. And he believed that age was just a number. And we all feel as we get older, wow, we're on borrowed time and stuff like that. But he never lived that way. He lived every day like, I'm alive and I'm going to make the most of it. And he did that all the time. I could recall when he turned 105, they had a birthday party for him, his whole family and friends and stuff. And he spoke and he's telling jokes. And I mean, he just seems so alive and so full of energy and stuff like that. Yeah, he was in a walker, but when you're 105, to still be walking at all is a total victory as far as I'm concerned. And the man just was a credit to the industry, and he's a credit to life. He's the type of guy that can inspire you because he did everything in his life. He did what he wanted to do. He had 2 children. Just another thing, too. One of his children passed away in 2020. His daughter, she was an actress, too. And she was 81 years old. Imagine that like, your father's still alive when you're 80 years old. I mean, that is just hard to believe. This man just had a longevity for life. When you watch somebody and you follow their career, you feel like you know them. There's like a type of bond that you have with them. You know, it's like I love the Yankees. I always feel like those players are guys that like I'll always be grateful to. And even though I don't know any of them, there's that appreciation for what they gave me as a fan. That's how it is with him. He was as underrated an actor. To me, he's a legend. I don't care what anybody says. He really came onto the scene in like 1941. That is like 80 years of being in Hollywood. Who couldn't say that? I mean, there's not many that could. I know Kirk Douglas could probably say it, and there's a couple others, but what this guy gave to the business for all those years, decade after decade after decade, there's a sadness in me, and I get it. He lived a great life. I know he wouldn't want anybody to be sad for him, but I am. To me, when you follow somebody's career like that, and you just like admire the fact that like how they lived all those years, there is a sense of sadness when someone passes away like that. And I want to thank Norman Lloyd. He was a tremendous actor, and he was somebody that always inspired me. And I thank him for everything he ever did for me as a fan. I'll never forget it, and I will always be a fan of Norman Lloyd. And God bless him. He's a terrific man. He will be missed. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Take care. Great day.